This week in Jamaica Now, terror tears Tryall apart. An 81-year-old woman and her two grandchildren are murdered in a chilling late-evening attack. Then, how a taxi operator was killed and a graphic artist injured in a police-involved shooting. Football legend Maradona dies from a cardiac arrest. Christmas clampdown.
If the numbers rise beyond reasonable expectations, then the government will have to reevaluate these hours.
Prime Minister announces tighter curfews for the Yuletide season as COVID case surge triggers new worry. Local government election put off until 2022. And blind love, how a visually impaired man searched for his wife years after they left school.
I don't know, but this was the right one. This was the right one.
I'm Damian Mitchell, and this is Jamaica Now. It was gripping. An 81-year-old woman and her two grandchildren shot dead by gunmen in the St. Catherine community of Tryall Heights on Sunday night. It sent residents to bed in tears and woke them up in anguish. The deceased, 81-year-old Aislinn McFarlane, 6-year-old Michane McFarlane, and her 10-year-old sister, Christina. They were murdered in the lower middle-income community by thugs who invaded their home. One grief counselor told the Gleaner that the children died hungry as dinner was just being prepared when they were attacked. The motive is not yet clear. In the meantime, the police have intensified their presence in Tryall Heights, but the fear remains palpable in the community.
And when I hear you crying, say Christina dead. Oh my God. I couldn't believe it. Two nice little girls. And their father is a father and a mother, everything for them. You see them clothes on the line down there? The father wash it. You see them uniform? Going to school, them white and pretty other man. I don't know say a man could have washed children clothes so white and pretty. Good father, man. And two children die. Imagine live how much a person from 1971 and now me afraid. I never afraid before. Because she was my friend. I don't keep woman friend. Understand me?
Yes, Grandma.
I said I miss her, man. I'm a friend.
In Manchester, the police are probing the murder of a former supermarket owner, 63-year-old Marcia Chinyu. She was found stabbed to death in her driveway in the usually quiet community of Ingleside Close. Commanding officer for Manchester, Superintendent Gary Francis, says there is mixed information as to when the woman was last seen alive and that investigators are in the early phase of their probe. The incident triggered shock and fear among residents. Custos of Manchester, Garfield Green, told the Gleaner that Chinyu contributed significantly to the growth of the business community in Mandeville for decades. The Independent Commission of Investigations, INDECOM, says it has collected statements and other materials in the ongoing probe into the fatal shooting of a man and the injury of another in Denhamtown, Kingston last week. The family of the deceased, 65-year-old taxi driver Harrison Palmer, is demanding answers about the controversial police-involved shooting. His daughter, Carrie-Ann Palmer, told the Gleaner that her father had gone on a charter job with two male artists when, upon entering the community, shots were fired. She said her father was attempting to leave with the passengers when the vehicle was met with fire from the police. Indicom says 6 cops were on patrol when they reportedly heard explosions and saw persons running. It reports that after an exchange of gunfire, 2 persons were seen in a Nissan AD wagon with gunshot injuries. The third occupant of the vehicle was not injured. The football world hung in sadness this week following the passing of Argentine football icon Diego Maradona. On Thursday, tens of thousands of eager fans lined up in Buenos Aires to file past the coffin of the legend. Some people confronted police officers who tried to maintain order at the country's presidential mansion. They threw bottles and pieces of metal fencing at the police. At one point, officers used tear gas to try to control them. Maradona died at the age of 60 of a heart attack. He had been in hospital recovering from a surgical operation to correct bleeding on his brain. Jamaica's Sports Minister Olivia Grange is among thousands of people who have paid tribute to Maradona. Retired track star Usain Bolt took to his social media pages to pay tribute to Maradona. Maradona had inspired Argentina to the FIFA World Cup title in 1986. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has announced tighter curfew hours for the Christmas and New Year holidays. However, there will be a relaxation for the other days of December and January.
If the numbers rise beyond reasonable expectations, then the government will have to reevaluate these hours. Keeping the curfew at 10 p.m. will depend on how well all of us take personal responsibility in observing the protocols.
The Prime Minister said the government will be continuing the ban on parties and events during the holidays. The gathering limit of 15 persons in public will also remain in place, but the measure has now been extended to private space as well. The government is to call out the national reserves to boost security for the festive season. This week, the health authorities released new analysis showing that northern and western parishes are recording the most active cases per 100,000 residents. Hanover, for example, is leading the tally, followed by St. Anne, Westmoreland, St. James, and Trelawney. Meanwhile, the lower house has approved amendments to the Representation of the People Act to allow the local government elections to be deferred up to February 27, 2022. Local government elections are held every 4 years. The last poll was conducted on November 28, 2016. Another election would have been due by November 29 this year. The law allows for a 90-day extension, putting the deadline at February 27, 2021. But the local government minister, Desmond McKenzie, says more time is needed given the current situation in Jamaica.
I wish to assure this honorable House and the country of the commitment of this government in having the next local government elections, the 13th since independence, within the amended time frame as just given here, Madam Speaker.
After months of delay, the membership of the Jamaica Teachers Association, the JTA, will vote for a new president-elect next week. The exercise will be conducted face-to-face and online between Monday, November 30 and Thursday, December 3. Approximately 20,000 teachers are eligible to participate in the selection process. Godfrey Drummond, a senior teacher at the Petersfield Primary and Infant School in Westmoreland, and Winston Smith, principal of the Golden Spring Primary in St. Andrew, are contesting the poll. The counting of ballots will take place at a special meeting of the JTA's Central Executive at its Kingston head office on Tuesday, December 8. And that's it for this edition of Jamaica Now, your weekly review of the big news stories. Send us your comments at onlinefeedback@gleanerjm.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Jamaica Gleaner and on Facebook at Gleaner Jamaica. Like this video on our YouTube page, turn on your notifications, and subscribe today. I'm Damian Mitchell, and before we go, Blinded by Love, how the visually impaired Dwayne Walker searched for his wife-to-be until she said yes.
I've never seen two visually impaired people together.
Yeah.
So tell me how to meet and how that go.
Science, you want to go first? All right, well.
You know, they're from school. We know each other from school days, so we used to attend Salvation Army School for the Blind.
Which one?
Mannington Road.
Okay. And what happened?
So we know each other from then. He left school before me, so it's a friend of mine who saw him and gave him a number. It never hard for us because we know each other from a long time.
So what? You know, was boyfriend and girlfriend at school?
Yeah, and he did like me. Yes, I used to come at my class. Every class I coming out, he will be going in the class that I coming out. And I used to hide sometime, and he always have a friend. Suppose I hide to come out. And I say, see her, she hide behind the door and come out. So I say, I try to hide him. Somebody always at the there direct him and say, see her there on the left, man.
Go on the right.
And he will like stretch out. He always stretch out his hands, you know.
Me was always I say, yeah. I really want a relationship with the person, but true, we did miss up couple years. Me never did really remember nothing, because you know I miss up and me in a whole heap of relationship as them girls they want me in a relationship still. Me don't know, them never really like me. It look like it's a restaurant thing then depend still. So them never really like me. So them just go around to see what them could have get all, but me never have nothing to give them still. So I don't know. But this was the right one. This was the right one.